Seta Benjamin Marcel Julio, N.A. Mary Madeline Marcel, Hubert Kwa Yuet Deske, Chatua Zahulie, Ajak Itel, Ayer Ajanuk Eniya Delo, Sechune Balaa, Ko N.A. Kosetne, Pote Jitis Huk El Ayer, Huk Nuk Eniya, Ayer. Tunane Lamestwan, Chachana del Churchly Ayer Dehene. Consequent a Honana Deske, Chatwesa Holie, Ayer Niao, Ana de Yodo Leo, the Holio, is a held in a Nate, Sabahoreliani Ayer, and a Saa, Shina de Ayer who answers the body of song. Then a harpoon after in Lane, fast, a show 9 minutes and who Sheena de Honana and nails the Tahel is Q, the cellos, the daisies, Harriers, the hello dinner. Who air a die of Hera, Holy Horekat, who such an Esther Piche, who dear, Cosset Nisa. Tadasa Dano on the air put ashway, a deal at a henny. We don't do but a snail horror asu fine. Then it's not a your neat Delphi, are you a tie of Quaha? And now Bark also, no by some illet and a fluid saw, who a tie of Quaha day, planet chart eh, but take who's no a tie of Quaha day. Hamal ate a bella, but he only was a tati. Kudas te hade, seta, sechella hell, went to deske a year to build to a task, then a song jet to build on a known it, not a toe now toe, as a toe. A at a capitane, you're not killed. Jitties called the air tira not killed shoots asa. No running kinde air coolat asa la the chaffy. To and they tune no sickly are you clock a night day of the other. I done a chilla. Well lubber lock and knee the who aired goofy are you to a Lana Chapoli and Sequin Cow after the cow in a sort of Virginia Morelia day, but as a halio, the Harun is no haliade, cooked an answer her. Cooked up an answer her district I done a chile, ate up a laughy, a Harun was own, but an answer they to the all the whole long. To all you, could you wait a kneel you, a civic ending to stay, not their stay I hella. Who hamayet the land is so he that do best for noise. That do about 200 but Hamabek as a who I hurry you, I in lade cooks, Sedese, Lorna, Sue, and Neil. Or is the are you done a chile? You would actually not ask me. A year that hotel was no art and the Zula day they have my didn't know help what they say. A year days at how you as I hate you with us that chem ate at the flashy. No a captain. John on our arm toe or fair dillo. Poetry burn higher half the hotel but only a hotel hozo or a saying nefi. Who aid a air nis out is a honor jet dillo. Who by yagati con for it I hell who aid a choose it. You cannot take half a correct a con but only a deck any at a. Could Gina tell the Nezo had day? As I bit as a fluffy, couldn't nuni se kui kapitane gana keni auto bit asik kefi is that talks of panito estahet Australia ha anuni nuela 22 bit asik bit kefi. Are you isagarat so nakitino tode estai Gastana Narecha bet Salila, a year put Harunarliu, bet shield a banana, the furnace on the honey, a year at ethic and nano potato about burners so. Cliff bet shield banana, he'll shoot it, escape a hopefully, escape that the Cleo, hurt up plant, who hurt up a hammock and laughing. A connet chilla fully connizon island nizon had church at gate at near or at aga nakitino to hola hamayanet or teho zone the babate a year of two now you a year not a hello a captain a team jina jasa yeah a year day are you as die Erkeslieni you haya California good nani dia nani dachi fe good crest how and burn we una hati dati isha esta sona tatana zani go irti ara o aza ane o aza hatamba nakitamba ta kudu isha esta sona tamba ese Tiff Dettiat I felt the skin after a kuli could do no it's a few who leaja. That's in head del cicator and yelle nani creske no it's a few nisula jasni that did any then who shoot other thing who shoot other no about burners or ille. Ea dan dubenas neo estai hoseo la nechani kuli la sont eleni. Are you in Sara Canturin only about and neo are you sick ikeo? Asashi neo asadaya teo. Are you assassinateo? In Sara la de benas neo but as a tianatsir. A can't do Keskin hapa ahas hatila are you actually a shatuna aja yune benasneo sene adutine saint sitse fonde and as a datu as die hoske which I tell masicho. My parents are Benjamin and Mary Madeline Marcel. And our home was on the Athabasca River at a little village called Jackfish. I was born in Fort Chip in a wall tent down by the lake delivered by my granny. My mom told me I was born at noon as the church bells used to ring then. But Jackfish was the home I knew as a child. It was a little micro village, about 6 homes, lots of relations, and a great place to live. Great place to grow up. During the summer months, when school was out, because most of us were in a mission, coming home to Jackfish was just the greatest place, to be with our parents and brothers and sisters and relations. And it was time to play, get to reconnected. But that was when we made dry fish. My granny, Esther Piche, used to tell me that when the moon was full, the whitefish would be running. But I always remember that there was always so many whitefish that so many people, Crees, Métis, White came to Jackfish to make dry fish. And it was okay with us. I mean, it was so much fish. It's a long process to make good dry fish, and Mom was very, very good at, she was very meticulous about how things were done. Because first of all, my dad and my brothers would set the net in the rivers, and there used to be lots of nets. I used to wonder how everybody caught fish. There was so many nets. They went to visit the net twice a day, in the morning, early morning, and late afternoon. And when Dad got home, there'd be tubs of whitefish. And before this, Mom and us, the kids, we would go cut fresh grass and willows and lay them on a tarp, and that's where the scaling would start. We would scale all the fish, cut the gills out so that the blood doesn't bleed into the fish, make the meat red. And the belly fins would be washed out. And then the younger kids would wash the fish. And they had to wash the fish, change the water often, and then lay it down on the willows and cover it so it doesn't dry out. And that's when Mom's work would start, as she cleaned every fish and filleted, keeping the backbone and removing the guts and the head. And then my mother, my sister, and I would help her slice it, so slice the filleted fish to hang on the poles. My dad used to hang the fish on poles, and there used to be a lot of work, a lot of fish growing up. And the sun and the wind, the fire and the smoke kept the flies away, and dried fish took the moisture out. And as kids, if it was a nice night, the dry fish stayed out because it was just too much work to take it down and have to put it back up. So we would get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and sit outside of the 22 and shoot the blackbirds, keep the birds away from eating the dry fish. Once the fish was dried, no more moisture, the fish was taken down, the tails and the backbone were cut off, and the backbone was a meal in itself. It was so good the way it was just put over a charcoal, and I could just taste it. All the fish was put on poles and then put into the smokehouse over diamond willow and alder, slow smoke. And that was Mom. She kept checking the dry fish and moving them around until they were to her satisfaction. Once it got there, then the dry fish was done. She would take it down and put them in boxes and put it away for winter storage because it was dried and it would not spoil, as long as it was in boxes and not in tubs or plastic. And for extra income, they used to sell some of their dry fish. At first, they used to sell that dry fish for 10 cents each. And then the price went up to 25 cents, and then 50 cents, $1. It kept going up, and now, and today's, it's $10 for one dry fish. Sadly, the last few years, the whitefish are gone from the Athabasca River, and it's replaced by the goldeye. And some of the elders say that it's pollution from upstream, the oil plants, that has done something to our fish. We don't know. We don't have an answer. We don't know. And goldeye is not what we consider good food. So, that's my story about making dry fish. It's a lot of hard work, but, we were a family. We worked together, we played together, we ate together, we prayed together, we made dry fish, and we all, and I'm 68 now, I still know how to make dry fish. I love the smell of white fish on my hands, and I look forward to making dry fish when I can. So this is my story on how to make dry fish. Message that I would like to pass on is, as a family, working together keeps the family together. They say the family that prays together stays together. The family that, eats together, works together. We had family love, and it's something that I don't see, and something I miss these days because that concept is gone. It's almost like everybody for themselves. Instead of that sharing, it's no longer like what my parents had, what my parents taught me. And probably because our way of life has changed, we do not live on the land anymore. My parents lived on the land until the very last years of their life. And I miss that. I still go to Jackfish, although we're flooded this year, so no one has been out there. But that's what, I think if a family works together and talks together, eats together, it makes them stronger. And not to forget the elders, their stories, and just because that's who they are, they're from. If I didn't have my granny, I probably wouldn't be here. So think of it like that.